This is a CRP Minute, a product of the Cage Rage podcast. If you have not liked our YouTube page or us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go and do it. We're producing daily content covering the world of mixed martial arts and of boxing. And I wanted to cover this headline very briefly, that Brian Ortega aiming for Jose Aldo fight this summer, possibly for vacant featherweight title. And why he's bringing up vacant featherweight title, which is not vacant at the moment. Max Holloway is the champion at featherweight, is because Max Holloway is fighting in April in the UFC 236 main event for an interim lightweight title against Dustin Poirier. So he's moving up a weight class, as many of you have likely seen. And that was my first question when I seen that, is what will happen with the featherweight division? Is he going to try to hold on to that belt, or is this Max's permanent move to lightweight, which I think is the right thing to do, considering that he's a very big featherweight, he's very young, and it's an inevitable move for him to go up to lightweight. As soon as Jose Aldo just got his win about a month ago against Renato Moicano down in Brazil, Ortega came out and tweeted, well, let's start negotiating. He's already foreseeing that this fight could happen between him and Aldo. He goes on to say that that's the only fight that makes sense, that they're at the top, and they're the number one and number two guys. Everyone else they've beat, which he's correct. They both have wins over Frankie Edgar. They both have wins over Renato Moicano. They both have wins over Jeremy Stephens. They have beat everybody. They've got a lot of common opponents, and their only losses recently were both to Max Holloway. So they've got very similar careers, so they're lining up very well. This fight should happen. The only thing is where Aldo is, because Aldo's made it very clear that he wants to fight only in Brazil, and he wants to fight 3 times, as this headline says, in Brazil this year, and then retire. And he's made also other mentions that he doesn't want to fight for a UFC title, doesn't want to fight 5 rounds. I think that would change for the chance of him becoming UFC featherweight champion again and going out on top. But that's just what he said. So, but what the key is not necessarily the title fight. It's looking at that he only wants to fight in Brazil, which is why I think instead of the summer, it's more likely to look at May for UFC 237, which is in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and they call Jose Aldo the King of Rio, so it'd be a good place for him to fight Ortega. And they had what was supposed to be an all-women headliner for that card, with the main event being for the women's bantamweight title between champion Amanda Nunes, the Brazilian, versus Holly Holm, and a co-main event for the women's strawweight title between Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade. But I guess Amanda Nunes isn't going to fight on this card now. I seen that headline last week. So they still have Rose and Andrade listed as the co-main event. So a main event between Aldo and Ortega in Brazil for UFC 237 could be likely. And as you see here, the rankings go to prove the point that Aldo and Ortega without Holloway are the top featherweights right now, and would be a perfect matchup to happen at this moment. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted. I think this fight happens. I think if it does happen, it'll happen in May in Rio de Janeiro in the main event of UFC 237. But we'll keep you posted.